On this episode of China Uncensored, Vietnam's most famous pop singer has something to say, but some powerful people don't want her to say it. Hi, welcome back to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. As I'm sure you can imagine, life under the communist regime of Vietnam isn't always easy, even if you're a famous celebrity, like Mai Khoi. In 2010, she won a prestigious songwriting award from state-run Vietnam television. Her style was conventional pop music. But she never liked the heavy hand of the authoritarian communist government, and she started to speak out in favor of democracy. She was one of a small number of activists who tried but failed in 2016 to gain seats to Vietnam's parliament, which is dominated by the ruling Communist Party. Her music began to reflect her transformation into an outspoken political activist. Here's a more recent piece called Re-Education Camp. And let's just say, when you criticize a communist regime, they don't like it. She's been detained by authorities and effectively banned from performing in her own country. Obviously, I thought, sounds like someone I'd like to meet. So I sat down with Mai Khoi at the Oslo Freedom Forum in Taiwan. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Great. So you used to be like the Lady Gaga of Vietnam, but now you're more like the Pussy Riots of Vietnam. Why did you put all that fame at risk for activism?
I don't care what people call me, because they can have their comparison. But I just care about what I am doing now, because the fact is I have to face with the problems myself, and I have to spread the message myself. So what I have is my fame, because when I'm famous, many people follow me and they watch me what I'm doing every day. So that is the good way to say something if you want to change the society.
It gave you a platform.
Right.
And how has your activism affected or changed your music?
My music have changed the style of music, because I was playing many style of music before: pop, rock, jazz, folk. But when I come to the music with kind of the protest music, but I have to do something different from others before. So I choose experimental ethnic jazz, contemporary that kind of music to express my lyrics, because it's very strong music. It touch people's emotions with the very big range of the dynamic. Yeah, so my music now is very abstract, but it's very strong.
And what's it like being a performer under communism?
I never performed for Communist Party. I just, because I was born there, I grown up there, and I have to work under the censorship system. If I want to release the new album, release a new song, if I want to get on the television, the press, they control everything. So they ask for the permission before you want to do anything. And that kind of things that I want to repeal. The censorship system for art and music is really useless. People don't need that.
So I know as a performer, censorship is a big issue for you. Do you think when I post a clip of this interview on Facebook, it will be viewable in Vietnam?
Facebook is under the threat now. I mean, the government have the new law, the cybersecurity law, and from that law, they want to censor the contents on Facebook, on Google, on YouTube. and the news that you're making about me or about political might censor. Yeah, I don't know if people can see it or not, but it depends on the content, on how you write the article. Yeah.
Why do you think communist dictatorships rely on censorship?
The Communist Party, they very scared when they receiving criticize from people every day. So when people have internet and social media, they can write their opinion on Facebook every day, and the government receives so much critical, and it makes them feel fear, and they scared they will lose their power. Yes, because they really realize the power of freedom of expression.
So what can people living under communism do to get freedom?
As I said, we have to step out of fear, and we have to learn, we have to discover, we have to know about our rights. Yes, and people, it's lucky when we get internet. If we don't have internet, maybe until now we still living in the dark. Yes, and I can see, I've been seeing people in my country have a big improve. They can get the information from internet without censor, and that's a good way for people to show their power.
And how do your fellow countrymen feel about what you've done?
Many young people have been inspired from me, and they send message from me every day on Facebook, and they want to make a change, they want to do something, they want to be an activist. Yes, and I'm so happy when what I've done encourage young people to make a change for the country.
So what advice would you give to young people living under an authoritarian regime?
You know, to play with the rule, with the law. I still following their law. What I am doing now is not illegal. I'm following their law, so they have no reason to stop me, or they have no reason to put me in jail. And it's lucky because I was famous, and many people already know me. So I have a voice. I have a bigger voice than other people.
What can people in Western countries do to help or change the situation?
I know Western countries can help a lot, especially on freedom of expression. If everyone can raise awareness about the internet issues and put more pressure on the social media companies like Facebook, Google, YouTube to force them protect for freedom of expression. That will be a good way to help the people in my country. And I know, like, Vietnam is a small country. Many countries have problems at the same time. But we can together make the connection, and we can raise the problems in our country. And I think if the Western countries just put their attention and spend a little bit more time to think about the problems of other countries like my country, and do something, everyone can do something.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I know our fans in Vietnam in particular will be very happy to hear your words.
Yes, they also very nervous about me. They also very worry about me. But many of them hope that we can make a big change.